right. We have to obey the pure milk of the word, or we see it, the perception of the one who called us out of darkness into his marvelous light, wrong. Amen? In 1 Samuel 2:35, you don't have to turn to it, but there is a promise that is given to us, and the backstory between that is Eli has sons. Their names were Hophni and Phinehas, something like that. And they were very wicked before the Lord. They stole money, they were manipulative, and they did all manners of evil against the children of Israel. Amen? So we have to understand, after we've seen that, we have a promise from God that is in 1 Samuel 2:35. It says, then I will raise up for myself, this is God talking, and a faithful priest who shall do according to what is in my heart and in my mind. I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. This is talking about Jesus and how Jesus has become our priest. But I brought this out because I want you to understand that because Jesus is our high priest, now the high priest is over the regular priest. Amen? There was a high priest, and then they were just priests. We are priests, but Jesus is our high priest. He is over us. So now we are after the order of Jesus. Amen? Jesus was after the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem, king of Salem, which now turned into Jerusalem later on, which the king of Salem means the king of righteousness. And we also understand that he was also a priest before the Most High God. So Jesus, and this is a foreshadowing of Jesus. Jesus was not from the tribe of Levi. Jesus was from the tribe of Judah. So he was not after the order of the Levites as we see them in the Old Testament, as Aaron and his sons and those that came from the tribe of Levi. But we understand that Jesus came from the order of Melchizedek. And now that we have a high priest in heaven, we are after the order of Jesus. And we have to conduct ourselves in the same way that Jesus conducted himself. How dare we decide that we want to be priests and now act opposite of what Jesus operated? Amen? We can't decide that we want to do anything and act any kind of way and come into the presence of God any kind of way and offer our own sacrifices that God doesn't want. We want to pick and choose what we want to sacrifice. We want to sacrifice some time and not all of our time. We want to sacrifice some of our life and not all of our life. We want to sacrifice some of our other things and don't want to sacrifice everything for him. Amen? So we have to understand that we are after the order of Jesus. If we are after the order of Jesus, we have to follow in Jesus' footsteps. Melchizedek was after the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek was a foreshadowing of Jesus. Jesus came and basically did the same exact thing that Melchizedek did. So Melchizedek was a king, he was a priest, and when he offered to Abraham wine and bread, which was communion. Amen? Jesus came and did the same thing with his disciples. He was a king. He came as a priest, and he did the same thing with his disciples. He gave them bread and he gave them wine. I want to ask you the same question. Now, Melchizedek served Abraham. Jesus served his disciples. Who were you serving? What mindset do you have to serve those who you should be serving? Those who you should be worried about. Those who you should be discipling. Amen? Abraham was just trying to save his nephew Lot. And he ran into the king of Salem. And the king of Salem now served Abraham. Jesus came, he wanted to save us, and he served his disciples. Who do you see that you are serving that you should be? How many people are now not being saved? How many people are not being grown? How many people are not being mature because you refuse to serve them? As I said last week, we are kings and priests. As I said last week, we are kings and priests according to Revelation 1 and 6. However, we don't struggle with being kings. We don't struggle with how we are to, conduct ourselves as kings. We often say that's beneath us. I don't do that. That's just not me. And we say I'm above this. And we can, as kings, we often say that's beneath us. I don't do that. That's just not me. And we say I'm above this. And we can authority is, and they're usually narcissistic with it. However, when it comes to priests, you are a servant. And because you are a servant, how is it that we are priests and we refuse to serve the people? How is it that we are priests and we refuse to conduct ourselves as priests? I want you to take one thing. In verse 1 of Peter 2, verse 1, we also see that it says, envy, hypocrisy, laying aside evil speaking. All of those are sins that you cannot see.